Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the entry of recruit training class number 137.
People have to stand. You want to stand on the chair? Get it? I'll follow her. I'll get it.
Oh, it is.
Be able to get it back on again?
Yeah, it's just this here. There's a slide underneath there. You can't.
Just look in there. Don't touch anything. Can you see them?
Yeah. We got them.
Yeah, they're just going to file in there now. If you want to shut this off for a minute.
It's lit.
Please remain standing for the invocation, which will be given by Father Robert Knoll, chaplain of the Department of Fire Service. Let us pray. Gracious God, we rejoice and celebrate all that comes from your creative hand. You give us light, and you give us this world with all the wonderful expressions of your handiwork. At this moment in time and space, we ask you, Lord, to be among us as we invoke your presence at these graduation exercises for Recruit Class 137. From classroom to drill yard, from evolutions of hydraulics to motor vehicle rescues, you have been there to guard us, to guide us, to inspire us, to keep us safe. It is fitting and right that you, Father, join us at this graduation ceremony, as you will most assuredly accompany us on every run, on every box alarm, on every medical emergency. As we celebrate this time of success and achievement, we call upon you and our patron, St. Florian, to share in our joy and to provide us with all we need to respond with professionalism, valor, and integrity to those in distress. We ask all, Father, in the name of your Son and that of the Spirit, who live and reign as God forever and ever. Amen. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the graduation exercises for recruit training class number 137. My name is Bill Hollick. I'm the director of the Massachusetts Firefighting Academy. At this time, I'd like to introduce the dignitaries who will participate in graduation. Starting on my far right, Ms. Kate Emilio, who is the administration coordinator for Massachusetts Firefighting Academy. Father Bob Connell, Department of Fire Services chaplain. Firefighter Rainey Archambault, Lawrence Fire Department, member of the Massachusetts Fire Training Council. Chief David Parr, Wakefield Fire Department, member of the Massachusetts Fire Training Council. Fire Marshal Stephen D. Cohen, head of the Department of Fire Services. Mr. Richard Bangs, chairman of the Massachusetts Fire Training Council. Lieutenant Mark Wall, Somerville Fire Department, our guest speaker today. Mr. Everett Pierce, programs manager at the Massachusetts Firefighting Academy. And Mr. Jack Delinas, recruit training coordinator, Massachusetts Firefighting Academy. Our piper today was firefighter Ray Kenyon, Lawrence Fire Department. He's a member of the Boston Gaelic Fire Brigade, and I would also like to acknowledge the presence of a number of fire instructors and Fire Academy support staff who participated in recruit training of class 137. Ladies and gentlemen, in May, a number of individuals came to this Firefighting Academy with one goal, and that was the goal to become a trained firefighter. I'm pleased to report to you today that that goal has been satisfied, and these recruit graduation ceremonies are being conducted because of that accomplishment. The training was conducted by members of the Massachusetts Firefighting Academy. The Firefighting Academy is a division of the Department of Fire Services, and the head of the Department of Fire Services is here with us today. State Fire Marshal Stephen D. Cohen will bring you a few words. Marshal Cohen.
Thank you, and welcome to these festivities, to the families and friends of the graduates, to the chiefs, and to, most importantly, to the recruits in this class. The State Fire Marshal was appointed by a group called the Massachusetts Fire Service Commission. And the chairman of that commission, who is with us today, advised me it would be appropriate to keep my remarks brief. So I will do so considering the heat and the temperature that we face today, but I think it's also appropriate to ensure that we give proper time and recognition to the accomplishments of the recruits as they sit before us today. For the last 11 weeks, they have been exposed to what I believe to be the finest recruit training program in the United States. As I have sat in my office on the second floor and observed pretty much on a daily basis what they have gone through, I have seen individuals come together into a very workable team, a team that is proficient in the skills necessary to be a firefighter, to go back and proudly serve, to wear the patch and the badge as a professional firefighter in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I do say to you, though, recruits, that with this graduation, with that badge and with that patch, comes a certain responsibility as a professional. And as we talked the other day in private, when I had a few minutes with the recruits, I think back upon a song from Neil Diamond a couple of years ago, which says, I look upon the future and the future is now. And I think it clearly is true that you as a group of firefighters that enter the service and look for the next 25 to 35 years of service are entering at a time that there is great future. There is great change within the fire service. There is great opportunity for you to be included in many different opportunities that exist. We are a service of inclusion. We are a service of specialization. And again, as we chatted about, there are a number of different things that you can think about during the course of your career, whether it be to join a regional critical incident stress management team and help your brother and sister firefighters through the very difficult times of recovering and healing from horrific events that they respond to, whether it be to become a hazardous material technician and serve a regional geographical area of the Commonwealth with the great skill necessary to mitigate hazardous materials and look to overcome the threat of terrorism and biochemical releases that we all face in today's society. Whether it is an opportunity to sit someday on the other side of a room like this as a chief of department, for those opportunities are there, and yes, maybe to stand on this stage as a future fire marshal of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Those are all opportunities. If you as a professional leave here today and remember that every day that you were in this service, there is a necessity to keep current, there's a necessity to be professional. The 11 weeks of training that culminate today need to be viewed as the foundation. And like any good house, it needs a solid foundation. Like any good career, it needed a solid foundation. You have received that. But this academy, the community colleges and state colleges across this state, the National Fire Academy, and your own fire department provide great opportunity for you to continue along those roads of challenges and professional training. As you were here since May, we went through a legislative cycle that has resulted in a new budget for the state. And I'm very happy to say that with the great cooperation, maybe unprecedented in this state, cooperation between the fire chiefs and the professional firefighters of Massachusetts, our legislators and our governor, that we for the first time in the state now have dollars in the form of a $10 million firefighter safety grant program that will be administered by the Secretary of Public Safety and made available to every fire department in this state to apply for grants to provide safety equipment to you, the firefighters. In addition, as part of that very important program, there is a certain amount of dollars that will come back to this state fire academy to allow the fire academy over the next 18 to 24 months to offer programs in the four corners of this great Commonwealth and here at this facility on firefighter survival techniques. As I have said many, many times since last December, the horrific event that took place in Worcester will always be etched in our minds, any of us in the fire service. And it was so horrific that there never will be a silver lining to the tragedy that took place there. But as a backdrop to that incident, we have seen and we've been successful in unifying the fire service to bring a new horizon, a new awareness to the needs of our firefighters, whether it be the physical training of our firefighters, whether it be the emotional needs of our firefighters, whether it be at this point, for the first time, a state grant program to also help. So as we go through the next few years, the times of some of us are shorter than the times of the recruits that are here. You are, as the song says, the future, and the future is now. I wish you well. I wish you a very happy, a very safe career, and you need to recognize and you need to know that my office and the Department of Fire Services agencies, boards and commissions are here to help and serve in any way that they can. God bless and have a great career.
The Massachusetts Firefighting Academy is governed by policies set by a board appointed by the governor to oversee the Firefighting Academy. That board is the Massachusetts Fire Training Council. We have several members of the council with us today, including the chairman, Mr. Richard N. Bang. Mr. Bang will give you the greetings of the council and will make a special award. Mr. Bang?
My pleasure to be with you representing the council, two of my colleagues, the three of them here, Bill will be one of them, with us today. And as Bill has said, that we established the policies and procedures for the courses of instruction here, and especially the 11-week recruit course. And you folks who are graduating today, you don't often see us around. We may from time to time, we don't interfere, but we know what's going on. We keep in touch by Mr. Holly giving us information from time to time. But the Fire Training Council presents an award at each graduation for the student who has the highest academic marks and the lowest number of demerits, who is the outstanding student of the particular class. And I would ask my colleagues, Chief Carr and Firefighter Archibald and Hollick, to join me here so I can announce the winner of the Outstanding Student Award for this particular class. I'll also ask Acting Chief Dennis Murphy to come up And the outstanding student of Class 137 is firefighter Raymond Stone from the Hudson Fire Department.
I really wasn't expecting this. We kind of tried to figure it out yesterday, but it worked. Just like to thank all you guys who made it 11 weeks very, very special to me. We really appreciate it.
For each graduation, we try to reach out to someone who can act as a role model for the graduating class, and this class is no exception. We reached out to a Somerville firefighter, lieutenant in rank, who is a graduate of the City of Boston Fire Academy. He was selected as Firefighter of the Year in Somerville in 1987. He has a son who is graduating in this class, a nephew who is graduating in this class. His brother-in-law is a long-time Somerville firefighter, and his father was a long-time Somerville firefighter. He's married, he has one daughter and two sons, and he's our guest speaker today, Lieutenant Mark Wall, Somerville Fire Department.
Let me begin by first thanking the members of the Fire Academy for asking me to speak here today. I would also like to congratulate Class 137 for successfully completing the 11-week course here at the Fire Academy. I don't know if there's too many out there that would like to re-up for another 11 weeks. I'd like to say a little bit about myself, to reiterate. I've been a Somerville firefighter for 31 years. My father was also in the department for 40 years before he retired in 1981. My son Mark been on the Somerville Fire for 3 years, and my brother-in-law Bill Powers was over 32 years in the same department. Which brings me to the reason I'm here today. My son Matt and my nephew Michael are graduating today and will follow in the family tradition of the Somerville firefighters. Some of you may be fulfilling similar traditions today. Some of you may be starting new legacies. But you all have one thing in common. You have chosen a unique and fulfilling profession, which has many highs and lows, frustrating moments, and gratifying times. You will run the full gamut of personal feelings, from a feeling of guilt, why couldn't I have gotten in there in time, found that victim, to a feeling of great exuberance, when things go good and you get to someone before it's too late. There will be tragic days when you have to go to firefighters' funerals. Maybe a friend, or might be someone you have worked with over the years, or it could be someone you've never met. In the fire service, we take care of our own, which was so evident at the recent tragedy in Worcester, where 35,000 firefighters from across the world came to say goodbye to 6 heroes, one of which I knew, Joe McGuire, who had just started his career. His niece Terry is with us today in the audience. The kind of camaraderie that was shown in Worcester is evidence of a strong connection that firefighters make with each other. A couple of weeks ago, I, along with the mayor of Somerville, Doc Kelly Gay, Chief of Department Kevin Kelleher, and my brother-in-law Bill, all who are in the audience today, took a ride to the Academy to watch one of your burn evolutions. As we stood there, we were all very impressed with the teamwork you displayed. In no other job is this type of mutual respect more critical. There will be times when you'll be putting your safety in the hands of your fellow firefighters. It was obvious from watching you that you have already begun to experience a sense of unity that is vital in getting the job done. The city I've worked in for the past 31 years has given me a good perspective on the variety of situations that you will be called upon to deal with during your careers. Somerville has between 75 to 85,000 people living in its 4 square miles, which makes it the most populated city per square mile in New England. The city is composed of many 2.5 wood frame houses and just as many 3-deckers. It also has a number of high-rise apartment buildings along with some light and heavy industrial buildings. The MBTA also has part of its subway system running through the city. Somerville is protected by 6 engine companies and 3 ladder companies, running out of 5 stations. We respond to about 10,000 incidents a year. The need for a quick response to any emergency, especially a fire in this congested city, is a must. Our job, no matter what city or town you're working in, covers a wide range of different duties that we are responsible for. From fire suppression to medical aids, responding to hazmat incidents, to auto accidents and extrications, and the list goes on. You are going to see a lot of things that the public does not see as far as victims of fire, auto accidents, industrial accidents, and so forth. Some firefighters seem to handle this part of the job better than others. Everybody is different. If you are having a problem dealing with anything from an incident you have responded to, tell your officer about it, and he will make sure that the appropriate people are aware of it. There are people out there today trained specifically for these type problems. If you need them, use them. The days of the macho firefighter are long gone. We are real people who have real feelings. Years ago, when we had an incident where we lost someone or some other traumatic thing happened, we used to bring it to the bar room, try to work it out. This is clearly not the best way to deal with stress of the job, and it certainly didn't make the lives happy. Which brings us to another very important issue that I'd like to stress here today. I mentioned that I came from a family of firefighters, but that also means that my family includes spouses, children, and siblings of firefighters. I've also appreciated the continuous support that I have received from my wife, Mary Ann, but I don't think I ever truly understand how difficult her role was until I had a son on the job. The best thing that you can all do for your families is to remember the importance of your training and to use all the resources available to make sure you come home safely after every tour. We will be responding to medical aids of all types, from heart attacks to drug overdoses. You must protect yourself from these incidents by wearing the appropriate gear we have in the apparatus for this type incident. The medical aids have become a very large part of our job. I'm sure that the instructors here at the Academy have told you that it's very important to start your series of hepatitis shots as soon as possible. As far as the hazmat incidents go, the technology that is in place today is far more advanced than it was even a few years ago. One hazmat incident that comes to mind happened in Somerville in the early 80s when 2 tanker rail cars collided, resulting in a leak of approximately 10,000 gallons of phosphate trichloride. This resulted in the evacuation of about 5,000 people and changed the way fire departments across the country handle hazmat incidents. This particular chemical was so powerful, it took the rust off of every chain link fence in the area and made it look brand new. Every firefighter that worked at that incident who had change in their pocket was surprised to see that the money looked like it had just been made. After 6 hours, the incident was brought under control when the chemists and other experts who were on the scene finally decided to dig a huge hole and bury the product. Ironically, the solution to this problem was suggested 3 hours before by a deputy fire chief from Somerville. This particular incident injured 15 firefighters, 3 of which were permanently disabled and did not come back to work in the department. With the advanced knowledge that the hazmat techs have today and the modern equipment that the teams now have to work with, these types of incidents are brought under control in a much safer and efficient manner. By the way, one of the daughters of the firefighters permanently disabled in that incident is in the audience today. Katie McDade, she's a Somerville police officer. Somehow she chose that profession over ours, but there's still time to come over to the good guys. There we are. I would also like to mention fire suppression, which is probably the most dangerous part of the job. Years ago, the captain of the fire department told me that when you're operating in a fire, the one that is going to win is the one that is the most aggressive and the one that is the sneakiest. What he meant is, It's all right to be aggressive, but be aggressive in a sneaky way. That advice has worked out pretty well over the years for me. With the improvements of the bunker gear, SCBA, and other equipment, we are able to go into a building deeper and stay in longer than ever before. These improvements are great, but don't think just because you have all this gear on, you are invincible, or that you can relax on the fire ground for a minute. When you pull up to a building, take a few seconds to look it over. This will tell you how many stories the building has, what type it is, and if the fire is visible, the floor it may be on. This might help you get to the seat of the fire faster if you're on an engine company, or if you're on a ladder company, the length or type of ladder you will need to rescue someone or vent a building. You will find that 1 minute you'll be sweeping the floor of a firehouse, or sleeping in your bunk, and the next minute you'll be in one of the most hostile environments in the world. Might be in someone's cellar or attic, wherever the fire is. Do not lose respect for it for a second, or it will take you out in a heartbeat. I do not know of anyone who came on the job with me or before me that has gotten hurt, that has not gotten hurt at different fires. This is the nature of the job. 13 years ago, we were operating in a 3-story wood apartment building. The company I was on responded to the fire in a second alarm. When we arrived, fire was showing on the second floor in the rear. We were ordered to run a line to the 3rd floor and make a search for any occupants and check for any extension of fire. When we got to the 3rd floor, there was a moderate smoke condition with some heat and no visible fire. I knew the fire was in the rear of the building, so we were making our way down the hall to check and see if the fire was extending up. As we got about 30 feet from the stairs we had used to get to the 3rd floor, I felt the pressure in the line was not right. So I had the firefighter I was with go see if he could find out what the problem was. When he got to the stairwell, the fire exploded through the walls and the floor between myself and the stairwell. The firefighters that were on the stairs could knock down to the 2nd floor landing, but I got thrown further down the hallway. I managed to grab the nozzle again, but the line was dead. By now things had deteriorated to a point where the visibility was zero and the heat was unbearable. I knew I could not go back in the direction of the stairwell, so I went a little further where I found a room. As I went into the room, fire was right behind me. I tried to find a door to close, but I could not locate it, so I kept on crawling. I was trying to feel for a window, but every time I would reach up, my coat would ride up in my arms and wrists would burn. When I finally located the one window that was in the room, I stood up fast and I removed my helmet to break the window. When I did this, my hair burst into flame, but at this point, all I wanted to do was get out. I broke the window the best I could, but when I went to get out, my SCBA got hung up on that part of the window. So I backed up a little and dove in the window with all I had. The next thing I remember, I was on the ground. I had fallen 40 feet, but as luck would have it, I had no broken bones, but I did have some internal injuries. I also had 3rd-degree burns to my wrists and part of my arms that required some skin grafts. I also had burns to my face, neck, head, ears, and under my arms. The burns under my arms were from the small vent holes in my turnout coat. I notified the manufacturer about the fire going through the vent holes, and they quickly corrected the problem. I spent the next few weeks in the Mass General Burns unit, and after that, 6 months or so doing physical therapy. I was back to work on the company in about a year after that incident. A couple of things I think are important to remember in this is the absolute need to wear all the protective gear that is available to you. This is a must. Also, if you get in trouble in the building, try to keep it together. The more you keep it cool, the more chances you are going to have to get out. Listen to some of the older firefighter stories. You might pick up something that will help you along the way. Tradition also plays a part in the fire service. Recently, our job has been criticized in certain media circulations as a closed profession. This is not true. Everyone has a fair shot at the job. Missing one question on the entrance exam can make a difference. I think coming from a family with either a mother or a father, and sometimes both, can have a strong influence in what profession a son or daughter chooses. This is true in a number of professions. Looking around the room, I see a number of people who are their fathers on the fire department. From the staff here at the academy, we have Kate DeMilio, Dave Salvi, Jack Gelitis, and Mike Morrison. We also have Kevin Kelleher, Katie McDade, and Terry McWhirter, whose father and grandfather were on the Worcester Fire Department. These are the firefighters that paved the way for us. Without them and hundreds of men and women like them, our job would be a lot more difficult than it is today. But for you firefighters that are just starting out in your careers, for future firefighters, I hope tradition continues to be a part of our profession. As I said earlier, firefighters take care of their own. We help each other no matter what comes up. We will develop a pride in the job that very few professions can come close to. You take it personal when someone makes a negative comment about the fire service, you will get frustrated and upset when the department cannot get certain things. I remember in 1981, my department lost an engine in a truck due to the passing of Proposition 2.5 by the voters. The department was devastated. The morale of the firefighters was below zero. But we all stuck together and turned a real bad situation into one we could work with. But try to remember, always act like the professionals you are. The public looks up to firefighters. They use us as role models, and they often call us heroes. I know Class 137 will have no problem continuing to meet these high standards and keep the reputation of the fire service where it belongs, on top. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you, Mark, for those kind words, and thank you very much for being our guest speaker today. Ladies and gentlemen, it might not seem to be a long time between May 30th and August 11th, but I can promise you for members of recruit training class number 137, they thought it was. Our media specialist, Sue Pelt here, has taken a large number of slides of recruit training class 137 in training, and if you'll give us just a moment here to set up the slides, I think you'll enjoy seeing what training class 137 did.
Now time to spare.
I'd like the members of the state party to rejoin me for the continuation of the ceremony. I believe this is the time during the ceremony that most of these students have been waiting for. This is the presentation of certificates. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to tell you of an opportunity. These certificates will be presented in alphabetical order according to community. As the firefighters from your community come up to receive their certificates, we invite you to come up to the edge of the stage and take as many photos as you'd like. Today, or tomorrow, we have a process we will get snapshots. 30 years down the road, when these firefighters are getting ready for retirement, I promise you, the photos we take today will be treasured keepsakes. Firefighters have been coached to take their place on the stage, look out into the audience, and say until each of you has had the photos in each day. Please take advantage of this opportunity. This time I introduce the recruit training coordinator who will call the roll for the final time. Recruit training coordinator Jack Delina.
I think that's what he said. I'm almost sure that's what the book stage.
In addition to completing all requirements for graduation from the Massachusetts Firefighting Academy, recruit firefighter training program, during your 11 weeks of training, members of recruit class 137 demonstrated the knowledge, skills, and ability necessary for certification of national professional standards for Firefighter 1-2, as mandated by the Massachusetts Firefighter Training Council. From Auburn, Chief Roger Bellhoover, presenting.
Yeah.
Graduating firefighter Gregory Moore. From Somerville, Master Mills, Chief John M. Barrington presenting. Graduating firefighter Jason P. Davern.
It's right on.
Assisting in Chief Barrington's next presentation, retired Norwell firefighter Arthur H. Duncan. Retired firefighter Duncan is the father of graduating firefighter Marcus J. Duncan. Graduating firefighter David F. Corolla. Graduating firefighter Thomas A. Vaughn. And assisting in the next presentation, Westwood Deputy Fire Chief Rocky Morrison. Deputy Chief Morrison is the father of graduating firefighter Brian T. Morrison. Graduating firefighter Daniel C. Osgood.
He didn't want to be here.
Graduating firefighter Gordon Williams. From Danvers, Chief James Tutko presenting. Graduating firefighter Peter Carter. Assisting in Chief Tutko's next presentation, retired firefighter Anthony Cantarella. Firefighter Santarello is the father of graduating firefighter Mark Santarello. From the city of Everett, Chief Kenneth Shedden presenting. Graduating firefighter Anthony R. Carley. Graduating firefighter Thomas F. Quigley, Jr. Graduating firefighter Gordon S. Stillwell, Jr. From the Falmouth Fire Department, Chief Paul D. Broder presenting. Graduating firefighter Robert T. Bergeron, Jr. From Framingham, Chief Michael L. Smith presenting. Graduating firefighter Michael A. Colonna. Graduating firefighter Juan J. Rivera, Jr. From the Hudson Fire Department, Acting Fire Chief Dennis Murphy. Graduating firefighter Raymond Fellman. From the City of Lawrence Fire Department, Chief Richard Schaefer presenting. Graduating firefighter Jeffrey Deschamps. Assisting in Chief Schaefer's next presentation is Lawrence Firefighter Tom Marino III. Firefighter Marino is the brother of graduating firefighter Adam Marino. Graduating firefighter Jose Ortiz. Graduating firefighter David Riley. Graduating firefighter Jose Dolores. From the Leominster Fire Department, Chief Ronald Cormier presenting. Assisting in Chief Cormier's first presentation, Firefighter James Gilmet. Firefighter Gilmet is the father of graduating firefighter Christopher Gilmet. Graduating firefighter John P. Perry. Of the Mashpee Fire Department, Chief George W. Baker presenting.
You believe that?
Graduating firefighter Joel D. Clifford. Graduating firefighter Troy D. Mills. Of the Norwell Fire Department, Chief Paul W. Roseback presenting. Graduating firefighter Robert J. Foley. Of the Reading Fire Department, Chief Ronald L. Wood presenting. Assisting in Chief Wood's presentation, East Hartford firefighter Peter Blackman. Firefighter Blackman is the brother of graduating firefighter Eric Blackman. the Sandwich Fire Department, Chief Dennis E. Newman presenting. Graduating firefighter Sean Miller.
They always get something wrong.
Assisting in Chief Newman's next presentation, firefighter Keith Lehman. Firefighter Lehman is the father-in-law of graduating firefighter Nicholas Suki. From the Shrewsbury Fire Department, Chief Gerald LaFlamme presenting. Graduating firefighter Colin Hallahan. From the City of Somerville Fire Department, Chief Kevin Kelleher presenting. Graduating firefighter James Clark.
Thank you.
Graduating firefighter Ryan F. Graduating firefighter Timothy Flynn. Graduating firefighter Vincent Lampley. Graduating firefighter Roger Moret. Assisting in Chief Kelleher's next presentation is Somerville firefighter William Powers. Firefighter Powers is the father of graduating firefighter Michael Powers.
Kelleher's next presentation is firefighter Mark Wall, the Somerville Fire Department, who is the brother of graduating firefighter Matthew Wall, also assisting Fire Lieutenant Mark Wall, father of graduating firefighter Matthew Wall. Of the Southbridge Fire Department, Chief Leonard Laporte presenting. Graduating firefighter Evan Finkel. Graduating firefighter Robert Roweka. Of the Taunton Fire Department, Chief Thomas Downey Jr. presenting. Graduating firefighter Robert B. Powell. Graduating class 137.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard much from us on the stage here for this graduation. At this time, it's our opportunity to hear from recruit training class number 137. I call upon the student spokesperson, Marcus J. Downing, Somerville Fire Department.
Good afternoon. We'd like to thank everyone for coming today to share a very proud moment with Recruit Class 137. 55 days ago, 44 men assembled in a classroom, many of us strangers to one another. But that was just the beginning. As the days started to go by, we lost some members of the class due to injuries and reasons we don't know. As time went on, the remaining men grew closer. A bond was beginning to grow. Then late in the program, we yet lost another. As the class president, I witnessed something only firefighters get to see. The bond was complete. The class came together as one strong unit. They were no longer friends. There was 41 brothers. With that, we were able to overcome a hard time in our careers. And still the class was able to put aside the past and push on. I'll always be proud of serving as a class president of the Mass Academy Class 137. I'm proud of my brothers who shared the time here with me. At this time, I'd like to thank just some of the members of my class. I'd like to thank Ray Spellman for serving as the class treasurer. David Riley for serving as the class secretary. To Eric Blackman for all his work with the t-shirts and the flag. To Sean Miller for all his work on the plaque. To Doug Powell for all his work with an outstanding class party. To thank Tom Quigley for all his work as the unofficial vice president of the class. Tom was also very helpful with the t-shirts with Eric. Who could forget our PT sessions? It was made a lot easier by 3 individuals in this class. I'd like to thank Mike Colonna, David Corral, and always deliver on Gordon. I get chilled. Thank you. I'm going to keep this short. With this class, we'd like to thank the support staff for building some intense basement fires. We'd like to thank the Academy and its fine instructors for the knowledge that was passed on to us. Gentlemen of Class 137, it was a great pleasure to have served as your president. I wish you all a great career, stay safe, and let's keep in touch. This time, Class 137 has a couple of presentations to the Academy. Gordy, could you bring the slide, please? Unfortunately, the flag wasn't ready until just 3 days ago, so Gordy had to run with the Mass Academy flag the whole time.
On behalf of the management staff of the Firefighting Academy, I accept this flag and I accept this plaque. We'll display it proudly and invite you to come back very often and point out to your other classmates and your future classes where you had success at the Massachusetts Firefighting Academy. Marcus, I'd like you to take this flag and the plaque down off the stage and present it to the Fire Academy instructors and trainers during the Class 55. Before we bring these ceremonies to a close, I'd like to call on State Fire Marshal Stephen D. Cohen one more time for a special acknowledgement.
Thank you, Bill. Each class there are a number of elected officials that try to join with us in these celebrations. And there are several, I believe, that are scattered throughout the hall. But in particular, sitting down front as a special guest of ours today is State Representative Mark Karen from Southbridge, who came down to be with his chief and family and see the 2 graduates from his district graduate. I appreciate you, Rep, for being here and your support at the legislative level to support our efforts in the fire service. Thank you, Rep. I'd also like to acknowledge a very close friend of mine and someone who's very helpful to me and in this agency, in the fire service. One of the vice presidents, I guess, of the Chaplains Association, Father Jim Seymour, the chaplain of the Lawrence Fire Department.
Thank you, Marshal. Ladies and gentlemen, Class 137 invites you at the conclusion of these ceremonies to join them for some light refreshments in our cafeteria, which is just across the drill yard. At this time, I will call upon Father Robert Connell for the benediction.
The Firefighter's Prayer. When I am called to duty, God, wherever flames may rage, give me strength to save some life, whatever be its age. Help me embrace a little child before it is too late, or save an older person from the horror of that fate. Enable me to be alert and hear the weakest shout, and quickly and efficiently to put the fire out. I want to fill my calling and to give the best in me, to guide my every
Right
neighbor
now I'm getting
and
I
protect their
can turn
property.
that out.
And if according to my faith, I answer my last alarm, watch over my family and all I love, keep them safe and free from harm.
You could take it off.
God bless you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, off to my right, to your left, there is what's called an accountability board. It's an unfortunate truth that in many cases firefighters have been injured or worse because nobody knew where they were on the fire ground. Here at the Firefighting Academy, these firefighters have participated in the firefighter accountability system, whereby they would take their individual number, check into a training station, check out from a training station, check into the next training station, and at all times we knew where all the firefighters were. We hope the system is now ingrained in these firefighters and they will go back and use it to remain safe for the remainder of their career. We invite them for the final time to retrieve their number, retrieve their helmet, and go on to their next assignment with our very best wishes. Ladies and gentlemen, recruit training class 137 to be piped out of the hall by Piper Ray Kenyon, Lawrence Fire Department.